Hello and welcome to TVWT, where I, Thaovy, will be your late night host. Congratulations on finding your way through the labyrinth and landing here, where self-love is inspired by play, expression, and creation. Tonight is our very first episode of TVWT, and it is with much gratitude that I get to share this space with you. So let's get into tonight's programming. First, indulging in poetry that expresses themes of generational healing for immigrant families, identity, and motherhood. After that, grab your notebooks and pens to engage in printmaking, where you will learn how to make your own prints at home. We will have a quick intermission during Karaoke Nights, with a performance of Believe by Cher, and then ending the night in the tea room where we get real and cozy. At any time, please feel free to pause, grab a snack, or peek ahead, because time here is never linear. All right, now get your fingers ready for some snaps, because it's time for poetry. Hi. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. I am here tonight to add some introspective energy into your night as we wind down into some woven truths. So in May of 23, I created a 3-piece series, a poem and a painting to express some of the general themes I had experienced as a first-gen Asian American, and I had the honor to perform these at an event called AAP Iconic, hosted by Cafe and presented by Fresh Karma here in Kansas City. And I mean, it was such an amazing event. Thousands of people showed up to support AAPI creators and vendors, small businesses in the space. So tonight I want to be able to share these pieces with you in a much more intimate setting as we journey and indulge into some spoken word together. Thank you. This first piece is called Befriending Anger. I greet you. Shake your hand. We can do this little dance, politely address the issue, share tea, part. And this next piece is called Yellow Circles. If I was a yellow circle in a room full of blue squares, I wouldn't stretch my edges till I fit. I wouldn't hold my breath. Looking to the right, mirrors surrounding me, puzzle pieces nuzzle gently in instead of forcefully pretending to be like them. And this last and final piece, which is also my favorite, is called Sacrifice and Saving Face. If sacrifice was putting food on the table, I will swallow all of my pride until I am inside out with adoration for the parts of you. I reflect the cobwebs you keep in your corner, ridden with stories. Your parents fed you only a single grain of rice, laid bottom the container where dreams once rest. Thank you so much. I hope you were able to enjoy yourselves tonight, and if you want to dive deeper into these themes of being a first gen, of being an Asian American, of being a mom, let me know. If you wanna talk, just let me know. Comment down below, and let us take a moment to reground ourselves as we transition into printmaking. Until next time. Hello everybody, and welcome to Printmaking with Thaovy. I'm in my knockoff Gucci pajamas today from the motherland, aka Vietnam. So you know today's gonna be a good day. So today I will be walking you through a step-by-step process to show you what printmaking looks like for me in my home studio. I will be filling out some online orders, so shout out to you if you've purchased from my shop recently. I will say that all of the prints online are already scanned and digitally logged. So for today, to spice things up, I will be picking a random sketchbook page to also show you the scanning process. If you're interested in learning about the materials I use, the machinery, and the software, then grab some tea, grab some lemon, grab some water, and let's get into it. So the scanner that I use is called the Epson V600. It retails for $349.99, and it is a scanner only machine. Now, I will say that if you buy the scanner, do not throw away the instructions, do not throw away the CD that comes with it, because that's what I did and I regret it. I made the mistake of deleting the software Silver Fast 8, but not able to download it again for free. So don't do that. Don't do that, because you need to keep the CD so that you can re-download it, or it's gonna say that you didn't buy the scanner. I don't know, I don't make up the rules, but this is the rule that I will tell you that I am making up. Do not throw away the CD that comes with the scanner. So I did end up having to repurchase the program, but I purchased an updated version of it, Silver Fast 9, and I paid around like $50. So yeah. Okay, so let's skip into a random part of my sketchbook. I did this collage a while ago, so let's just use this one for the example. Now, it doesn't really matter which side of the scanner that you put it on, because you can always edit in after. Like here, I can just take the little red borders and fit it to size. Okay, now on the side, there will be some settings that you can tweak just to make sure that it looks as realistic as possible. Now, I always export it in a TIFF format. It is a much bigger file size, but I just find that the quality is unbeatable, especially if you're gonna also be posting digitally for like social media and stuff. I also export it at 600 ppi, but I think that 300 works just fine. So right after the scanning process, I do jump straight into Adobe Illustrator. And what we're doing here is, because we had scanned the image in a high quality format, which is .tiff, I need to scale it down so that the Cricut machine will be able to upload the file size. So let's start off with showing you how I set up my Adobe Illustrator. So right now I'm in pixels. I'm just going to change that to inches to make it a lot easier for me. And I will just go ahead and do just a 4x6. Since I'm starting off with these sizes, it's fairly easy to do that. And this order had 4, I believe, so let's start off with that. I'm going to go to the order and search up the ones that they had purchased, starting with I've got a lot on my mind. I'm just gonna go ahead and basically crop it, like set it up how I would want it to look when it is printed. I try my best for prints that, or for scans that don't fit the dimensions like to a T. I try my best to keep the integrity of the piece. So like for me, I feel like this piece needs more of the blue on the bottom to really ground it. That's why I'm cutting off the top just a little bit. So I'm okay with that. I just did a shortcut, which on the Mac it's Command Option 3, but you can just go up here to File, Export, Export for Screens. Click all of them. It saves you so much time when you actually name your file. Like so much time. So these are the settings that I have noticed allows me to print and work with the Cricut software at the highest quality. So what I do is I do a 4x scale and I export it as a PNG file. Okay, so after you have all of your files ready and you know what dimensions you want at the end of the project, I jump straight into Cricut Design Space. So the machine that I have is the Cricut Explore Air 2. I will link all of the information down below. So let's go ahead and jump into Cricut. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a new project. And here we're gonna click upload and you're going to upload image. The nice thing about the Cricut Design Space though is that it does keep a log of things that you have made and updated before. So if this was a print that I've already printed, I could just easily go back into the database and click on that one and print, and it's a lot simple. But for the sake of today's video, let's go ahead and do it like this. So let's start off with this one. I've got a lot on my mind. After you upload the image, it's going to ask you simple, moderately complex, or complex. I don't care what it is, I will always click complex. This feature is something cool that I can do a whole nother video about if we were making stickers, but for today we're gonna pass this stage because we want the entire print on there. Okay, and we're gonna do a print and cut. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my art prints collection. And you can see here that it is uploaded. So then I add this to the canvas.
and we resize it. So you just repeat that step for all of the prints, and I'm going to go ahead and speed this process up. The thing with print and cut is that you can only do that up to a maximum dimension. So right now I have 2 layers. So the machine thinks that it's going to do 2 different jobs. So what you do is you would select both of them, click attach, and it's all on 1 layer now. So the machine is like, okay, this is one project, right? But let me just show you what happens if you have the print and cut bigger than a certain dimension. So you're gonna get this little exclamation point because I think it's over 9 point. So somewhere around 9 inches and 7 inches is kind of the maximum dimension for a print and cut project. If you weren't printing, you can definitely cut at a much bigger size. Let me just go back to what it was before, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and make it. Double check everything looks right. This is how you're going to be placing the prints onto the mat. Continue and send to printer. I always click this box that says use system dialog, because if you print through Cricut's design software, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't look as good. So I click use system dialog so that the printing settings come from the computer and not the Cricut space, if that makes sense. Water. So let's talk about the printer that I use. I have the Epson XP Expression Photo 1500 wide format printer. That was a mouthful, but I will link everything down below in the description. This printer retails for $399.99, and the reason why I went with this printer was because it had the ability to print large format. I wanted to make as big of prints as I possibly could in home without having to go to a third party, and my largest print right now that I make currently is an 11 by 14, which I am able to mat up to a 16 by 20. Definitely very versatile. I think the only issue that I have with this printer though is that you kind of have to babysit it. Since the material that I use for the paper is so thick, when you are feeding the paper into the rear feeder, you kind of have to like push your finger down in order to make the paper go down. But that's like not really that big of an issue because I definitely babysit all of my machines. I know it takes so much time for me to stand there and be like, and I need things to get done how I want things to get done. But overall, it's a very lovely printer. It is inkjet, I don't know if I said that already, and I do purchase the inks with Epson directly from their Epson website. I do try to get as high quality of inks that I can. They have like the normal level, and then they have like the XL level. I definitely prioritize purchasing the highest quality of inks when my budget lets me do that, just because with watercolor, like I'm so picky about it. I want it to be the most realistic print that you can possibly get. Like I feel like watercolor is not really easy to print, just because of the granulation, all the colors, all the blending. So high quality inks is the way to go. So about a year ago when I first started making prints, I just YouTubed like best printing paper for art. And there was this video that like went through all of the samples for this brand. I am not going to try to say the name. This pack is an 8.5 by 11 with 25 sheets. I think this retails around $51 on Amazon. And this one is the 11 by 17 with also 25 sheets. This one retails closer to 100. But the reason why I am so obsessed with these is that they are 90% bamboo fiber, 10% cotton. They have this like off-white type of finish, and I just love it. It also just makes my artwork really glow because there's a sense of like sustainability and natural elements derived in it. I just feel like it adds like a whole nother element of like Mother Nature into my art. But there's some information about how to store it, how to take care of it. Otherwise, this is fine art quality. They have a whole bunch of collections that like might suit your needs. For instance, this paper is not pure white, it's off-white. And so if you are looking for pure white as can be, I would go with a different option. But I actually love the off-white, but the paper just really makes it for me. I don't know how well this is picking up on camera, but just the texture of the paper is perfect because my art is not digital art, it is watercolor art, and it has a lot of texture that I really need the paper to pick up in the print. Thank you so much for watching till the very end of my video. If I gave you any value at all, if you learned anything, if you are interested in purchasing any of the things that I spoke about, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button since you're already there. You know, it's you just go over a little bit and just click it, just click. As always, thank you for joining me in my studio today, and until next time, bye. Hello and welcome to Karaoke Nights. Karaoke Nights. Karaoke is a huge part of my culture, and I remember my grandmother would tell me stories about how everyone in Vietnam would bring their karaoke machines outside, and they would bring their tables outside and their drinks, and it would just be innocent fun, and whoever got asked to sing the most would be crowned karaoke queen or king of that neighborhood. And I was so inspired by that. Now, my love for singing goes back to when I was in the 4th grade and I auditioned for a solo part in Pocahontas and got it. I don't really remember much because I kind of blacked out, but I do remember being so proud. And I think it's the same type of feeling that my grandma felt, just being able to express without the pressure and just being able to be in the moment and have fun and celebrate. And so Karaoke Nights is an ode to self, inspired by my culture. Here I give myself permission to sing freely and to be free and to express freely, and I hope that you feel the same way. So tonight I will be performing a karaoke rendition of Believe by Cher in the style of Ella Henderson. If you haven't seen her performance on X Factor, you really should. But okay. No matter how hard I try, keep pushing me aside and I can't break through. There's no dark under you. It's so sad that you're leaving. It takes time to believe in, but after all said and done, you're gonna be the lonely one. Do you believe in life after life? I could feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough. No, do you believe in life after life? I could feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough. No, what am I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you? Well, I could feel something inside me say that I really don't think you're strong enough. Well, I know that I'll get through this, and I know that I am strong. I don't need you anymore. 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 Do you believe in life after love? I could feel something inside me say I really don't think you're strong enough. Do you believe in life after love? I could feel something inside me say, but I really don't think you're strong enough, no. Ooh, na, 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 na. No, 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 no. You're not strong enough. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time. Okay, so let's get casual. I have my blanket, I have my snacks, my tea. I hope you are sipping yours over there. This segment is for me to get real, and I mean as real as it gets, okay? And some of the topics can get a little bit heavy, so feel free to add to your watch list if you need to come back at a later time. Tonight I want to talk about healing generational trauma, specifically around money, identity, and success. I'm going to share a little bit about my personal story. So I moved over here from Vietnam when I was 5, and I had to see my parents really struggle to make money and to earn credibility and to be like established here. I know that often there is this stereotype of like coming over to America and having the American dream and, you know, being able to create and express and make money and all that. And that wasn't really the story for my parents. Granted, they have built a beautiful foundation, but I want to talk more about the sacrifices that they have had to make in order for that to happen. They gave up their emotional vulnerability, their emotional space, and their creative freedom, honestly. So my mom was having dinner with her friends, and they were just exchanging, you know, witty banter back and forth and talking about how, like, I gave up my dreams for you and blah, 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 and just, like, laughing it off. And I'm over here, like, crying in the corner. I'm like, what? So that was rough. I mean, like, having to just be empathetic to that situation and then realize, like, wow, I've had those fears. You know, being a mom, I've had the fears of, like, having to choose the most traditional path in order to be the most successful or be the most credible, right? And along the way, I just said, like, F that, honestly. I just said, I don't want to do that. And that's still something that I'm going through at this moment. And I think every day that I wake up, I am reminded of my worth. I am reminded of my agency.
having gratitude for everyone that came before me, but then using that and empowering the pain, alchemizing the pain into something that I can successfully create a story from. And it really gave me a lot of perspective on the trauma and the pains that I went through as a child, feeling like my parents never were there for me, or feeling like I couldn't have my dreams. Knowing that it was also their pain opened my eyes up to having so much more gratitude for them, and it wasn't ever personal when my parents told me that I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. It wasn't ever personal when they said that I had to go to college and I had to become a doctor and I had to do this and I had to do that. It was their story. It was their only way of being more successful than they were at that point. And so, like, really understanding their perspective and where they came from has really empowered me to reclaim what I deserve and rewrite my story, and being able to use that from gratitude and from love, and taking their pain, taking their wishes, and taking their dreams and expressing that and being able to share it with you. I hope that you can gain some insight on how to stand up for your own personal power, on how to rewrite your own story, but at the same time having gratitude for your parents, right? Or having gratitude for all of the people in your life who told you you had to be like this. You can't do that. You have to do that a certain way. If you want to do that, like, you can't do that, but if you want to do that, you have to do it in the way that I want you to do it. Releasing yourself from that, releasing yourself from the barriers, the stories that people have written about you before, and understanding your agency, understanding your worth now, where you are at now. And doing all of that with love and gratitude, right? Like, I am so grateful, but at the same time, I am very sorry for your pain. And I am very, very sorry for your fear that makes you think that I can't do it. That makes you think that I have to be that way. That is your limiting belief. I don't know. There's just something so empowering in that. And I hope that by sharing my story, and sharing kind of a little bit of what I've had to go through, of never feeling good enough, never feeling like, when I grew up, especially because I grew up in a very white area, I always felt like everyone else just had to walk into the room and everything was so easy for them. But when I would walk into the room, it would be a lot. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It would just be a lot. It would be so much harder for me to speak out, so much harder for me to have someone, pick me when my hand was being raised, so much harder for me to express my worth, and growing up, like, it really impacted me to the point where I shoved down my dreams and my creative passions and who I was and what I had to express in order to fit someone else's narrative, in order to fit someone else's version of me, because everything that I am was too much for them to handle. And that is okay. It is okay if you feel like you are too much. Honor that, understand where it comes from, and then change the perspective to saying, I am enough. I am enough. And I hope that by sharing these stories with you, I can kind of guide you into your own self-empowerment. And that's what this is all about. That's what all this is all about. I think that there is something so magical about being able to take what we've been through, understand a different perspective on it, their perspective on it, but then still honoring yourself and understanding how to move forward with love, how to move forward with agency and accountability for yourself, right? So here in the tea room, this is the expression part of the self-love journey. I think that it's hard to do this part. It's hard to hear your voice. It's hard to express it. It's hard to share it. It's hard to be vulnerable. But when you do, you are holding yourself accountable to your self-love journey, and you are holding yourself accountable to even celebrating yourself, being like, damn, like, I did that. I went through that. I changed my perspective because now I understand. Now it's wisdom. It's no longer trauma, it's no longer pain, it's wisdom. And I hope that I was able to give you some introspection for tonight. I'm feeling like all, tingly here, because I think that I can feel the healing start to happen as I am doing this. And I think I'm gonna end on that note. So let us take a moment to reground because that is a lot. Until next time. If you have made it to the very end of this episode, thank you so much for your support. This is the very first episode, and it means so much to me that you would be here with me right now. My only mission is to inspire you to practice self-love through play, expression, and creation, and TVWT is the place where we get to do that together. So, until next time. That's a motherfucking rap. It's hot as hell in here. Like, it's literally so hot in the house. I had to turn off the AC. Also, I've been working on this forever. I finally got the first episode. Now we get to prepare for launch. It's the little things, okay? You gotta celebrate yourself. My lip gloss. Where's my lip gloss? Being Asian American, of being a mom, of being... and... I got this. This is a big deal, girl. Like, I have worked on this for months, years. I'm finally filming the intro. Like, come on. Round of applause.